Alright, so I have a over-the-bed truck rack that I use for all my kayaks. So I figured I'd take a second to demonstrate how I load my 100+ pound Hobie by myself. And the first thing is, you'll notice there's end caps on each of these bars. Well, in the front one I took it off. The intent was to install a Yakima boat loader, which is an extendable bar that comes out to assist you, until I saw the price. And at almost $100, it's a little steep. So I tried it with my old brass stakeout pole. And this is the technique I came up with. Much like the boat loader itself, you cram this in here. And what it does is it gives you a little bit of leverage off to the side. Pull the boat as far forward as we can in the front. And it has to be a little bit angled at the rear, because if you come at it straight, it'll tend to slip. And then what you'll do is pick the front end of the boat up, place it on the rod, and let it slide until it connects with the truck. Once you've done that, come to the rear, and this is where you run the risk of dropping it. Pick up, step inward, until you place it on the rear rack. Now shove it over, and once that's done, I'll just climb up on the top, flip the boat over so it's sitting on the sturdier rails on top, and tie it down, and we'll be good to go. And that's how I get my 100+ pound Hobie up on top of my roof rack. Here in a little bit I'll show you my tie downs and how I strap it down. Alright, so once the boat's on top, we just got to flip it. And the reason I flip it is two things. For one, it protects my seat, but also the Hobies are much stronger on these rails here. Anytime you store it for any period of time, you should flip it either on its side or preferably upside down, and it'll prevent the boat from warping. So all I do to flip it is reach over here, and once it's upside down, I can strap it down. When it's just my boat, I use the Malone straps, and we loop them under, and basically what I'll do is loop it on both sides and pull it tight. And the reason I use hand pulled instead of ratchet straps is because ratchet straps allow way too much tension to be placed on the boat and can actually damage the hull too. I'm not strong enough, in fact most guys aren't strong enough to damage the hull by pulling this tight, but if you over ratchet it, you can destroy it. Once on the back, again, I use Malone bow and stern straps, and I actually love these for this purpose. So I'll take the nylon loop, kind of loop it around my rudder, slip the hook over it, my poor old truck, loop it into the here, pull tight, and I tend to loop the excess end under here and just tie it off so it's not flapping. And again, in the front, I use the Malone bow and stern straps, and I tie them in with the Yak gear straps. These are really inexpensive, and they're basically just nylon straps that bolt into the bolts underneath your hood. So we'll just put these on, pull tight, and again, tie off the excess. Two things to be concerned about. My truck's not pretty, it's old, it's beat up, and it's always going to be that way. So I don't mind the fact that this does have a tendency to scratch. In fact, you can see multiple scratches from where it bounced around. But the most important thing for me is I always test my windshield wipers once I have it tied down. I put a boat on here one day, was driving across Lake Pontchartrain, got hit with a sudden storm, turned on my windshield wipers, and they immediately snagged this because it was dangling too low and exploded, and I had to pull over and wait out the storm. So it is very important when you're doing your bow line to make sure that your windshield wiper's clear.
Hey, it's Jeremy from Lucky Hat Outdoors, and if you like our videos and you have a good time, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.